Good morning. I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
The views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we
This is News and Views. First in the news, chaos erupted in the Senate on Wednesday night after gunshots rang out inside the building. That's as tensions continue to build around Senator Bato de la Rosa and his looming ICC arrest case. Here's the report.
We don't know bakit kami nandito sa dulo nito. Hindi ko alam hindi ko alam na meron palang... Ay! Oh my God! Oh my God! May nagpaputok!
Gunshots suddenly rang out inside the Senate on Wednesday night, triggering panic and confusion. The incident unfolded amid rising tensions over the possible ICC arrest of Senator Bato de la Rosa. Members of the media covering developments inside the Senate were ordered to move back. Moments later, the lights were also cut off. Authorities later disclosed that shortly after 7 p.m., armed men allegedly managed to enter the second floor of the Senate building. According to DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla, OSAA personnel attempted to stop the group, prompting warning shots to be fired. But the armed men allegedly fired back before retreating.
Armed men tried to enter through the second floor but were stopped by the OSAA. They had firearms with them, but the OSAA fired a warning shot. They retreated at the back and started firing indiscriminately into the air. Now, we do not have a definite count of how many people tried to enter the building. Number two, there are no casualties. None. No one was hit, no one is wounded, no one was killed. Number three, we are in the process of determining who is behind this.
Despite the alarming incident, Remulla clarified that authorities were not at the Senate to arrest Senator Bato de la Rosa.
The President sent me here, number one, to secure the senators. There is no politics at this time. In these times of turmoil, politics goes out the window. We all belong to one country and we all will lead one nation. The President has given strict instructions. Secure the senators, whoever they may be. Next, we are not here to arrest Senator De La Rosa. In fact, we are here to protect him. Let that be clear. I made that very clear to his family. I repeat, we do not know who is behind this, but we will find them. We have all the security footages, and I'm here with the Senate President to assure him that we are only doing this to secure them.
Meanwhile, Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano revealed that around 6:45 p.m., some senators received warnings advising them to leave the Senate and go home.
We thank God that everyone is safe. We'd like to thank the President, Secretary Teodoro, Secretary Remulla, who personally came here. Chief PNP Nardates is here. So as you know, last Monday, nag-request po tayo ng PNP just to make sure na yung investigation natin with NBI, that there will be no untoward incidents. So at around 6:45, 7 o'clock, some senators got warnings na umuwi na. At nagtataka kami what that meant. So sabi ko, please don't believe that because the last thing anyone wants is yung gulo. At around that time, we got information, about an hour before that, we got information, parating na dito yung articles of impeachment. So we decided to extend our focus and to mag-meeting na how we can prove by actions yung sinabi namin that this change in leadership is not about politics, it's not about impeachment.
Earlier, Senate Secretary Dong Mendoza claimed that the individuals who entered the Senate were perceived NBI personnel. However, NBI Director Attorney Melvin Matibag denied that any agents were deployed to the Senate during the incident. Both Cayetano and Remulla refused to identify possible suspects.
Will not confirm.
No questions, sir.
No,
Stop
it's okay
there.
questions, but forgive us because we don't want to say something na hindi mabawi. If government did this to government, we are in trouble. And I want, there's a presumption of regularity na hindi to gagawin ng kahit anong agency sa atin.
In a video message, President Marcos said no order had been issued to arrest Senator De La Rosa. The president added that authorities are now investigating what exactly happened with the NBI and PNP set to conduct a joint probe into the incident.
wala pong instruction kahit na kanino na hulihin si Senator Bato. Aalamin natin kung sino ang gumawa nitong gulo na ito. Ito ba ay talagang nagka-inkwentro lang o ito ba ay may kasama sa mga distab o nagsusimula ng gulo? Kailangan po natin malaman yan.
Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
Vice President Sara Duterte expressed concern over the gunfire incident at the Senate. Speaking from The Hague, Netherlands, she described the situation as an affront to this institution in a violation of constitutional rights. She also maintained that foreign tribunals have no authority within Philippine territory. Meanwhile, Senator Mig Zubiri urged the Philippine National Police to identify those responsible. He also expressed gratitude that no one was hurt and called for continued prayers for the safety of Senate personnel and national stability. In a joint statement, sentro ng mga nagkakaisa at progresibong manggagawa and the Coalition Against Trafficking in Women Asia-Pacific said Senate leadership could end the political controversy by surrendering Senator Bato de la Rosa.
And for the latest over at the Senate, let's bring in our mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Arles, what's happening there?
Angela at Diego, medyo inabangan natin kung makakapasok nga ba yung mga kapatid natin sa media matapos yung mainit na enkwentro at yung putukan nga kagabi dito sa Senado. At so far, nakapasok naman na yung mga reliever or yung mga non-Senate-based reporters mula nang ma-lockdown nga ang Senado kagabi. No? Angela at Diego, nung nangyari yung lockdown kagabi, hindi natin inaasahan na magiging ganon kabilis yung mga pangyayari. Nung nakita natin yung sitwasyon, akala natin magkakaroon lamang ng pag-aresto. Hindi nga actually tinukoy kung sino yung aarestuhin, no? Pero mayroon daw. And then later on, inatasan ng media na magbigay ng espasyo para daanan kung sino man yung aarestuhin. And then later on, narinig na natin na may nakita na natin sa Senator Bato de la Rosa na bumaba ng elevator kagabi. And then sa first floor, pagdating natin sa first floor, wala tayong nadatna na Senator Bato de la Rosa. Hindi natin alam kung saan siya napunta. And then sa pagtutok natin sa Facebook Live ng ating pagtutok dito, may nangyayari sa itaas sa ikalawang palapag, and then later on, doon na nga nangyari yung mga putukan and nahirapan tayong hanapin at tukuyin kung nasaan that time si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Kaya kung makikita nyo man yung picture ng majority, hindi ron kasama si Senator Bato de la Rosa, no? Dahil ayon sa ilang source at sa kanyang abogado na rin, no? Nakasama raw nito si Senator Robin Padilla and Senator Bongo, and then naghiwalay ang mga ito, then yun, nangyari na yung mga putukan. Pero dito so far, Angela at Diego, mas I can describe, no? Kumpara kaninang madaling araw, mas lumuwag-luwag na yung seguridad dito. Hindi pa rin basta-basta makakapasok, kailangan nandun ka pa rin sa listahan, pero heightened pa din yung kanilang security dito. Nakakordon din yung bahagi kung saan naganap yung putukan.
Arles, yung kasi yung mga sa video mo, tsaka yung mga ibang naglabasan during live, kasi nakita rin namin live as it was happening, no? Yung hallway na yon kung saan nangyari yung putukan between yung OSAA at saka yung mga uniform personnel at saka yung hallway going in. Saan papunta yung hallway na yun? Is that going towards yung area kung saan naririnig yung mga drilling?
Actually, Diego, yung area na yon, malapit yon sa opisina ng mga staff ni Senator Loren Legarda. And at around 5:25 p.m., sinundan pa natin si Senator Legarda papunta doon. Yan sa nakikita niyo yung screen sa screen na yan, no? At tinanungan natin kung magkakaroon ba ng pag-aresto kay Senator Bato de la Rosa, what's happening, what's the plan of the majority, and what are we expecting throughout the day, because Senator de la Rosa said he received tips from his sources na the NBI and the CIDG, PNP are preparing to capture him, no? But hindi tayo sinagot dyan. Pumasok si Senator Legarda doon sa kanyang room kung saan nga natin siya sinundan, no? And then patungkol naman kung saan ito nagdadirect. Actually, Diego, the way we know this area, parang diretso siya sa isang fire exit. Pero may tagos siya ng mga kalapit na mga opisina. Hindi dyan naganap yung drilling. Actually, yung drilling naganap doon sa first floor. Actually, dito sa area na to, dito sa konting lakad lang dyan, itong area na to, dyan natin narinig mismo yung drilling, malapit na malapit mismo doon sa parking lot ng mga senador. Nagulat tayo dahil kinakalampag at tinutuktok talaga ng mga OSAA officers yung pinto na naririnig nga natin na talagang kanilang naririnig natin na dinidrill talaga. Hindi natin alam kung may binabaklas ba sila or sineselyuhan na ba nila. And then nakita natin yung naaninag natin mismo yung mga tao doon, may mga nagpa-flashlight pa nga, and that's very alarming.
Okay.
Pinalayo pa nga tayo ng konti dahil we don't know what we can expect from that. No? And then minutes after that, yun, sinara na rin yung main
Arles.
entrance ng Senate dito sa baba.
Okay, before we let you go, quickly lang, so as we speak, nasaan si Senator Bato de la Rosa? May mga reports kasi nagsasabi na wala na siya dyan at umalis noong mga alas 3, alas 4 ng umaga kasama si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Of course, we want
Kasama
to know,
si Senator
Robin Padilla, 11:13 kagabi, nagpakita siya, may video na nasa loob pa siya ng Senate premises. Pero ngayon, ano ang impormasyon mo, Arles?
Tama, Angela, no? Umuugo nga yung balita na nakalabas na raw si Senador Bato de la Rosa dito sa Senado around 3:40 a.m. nga yung nabigay pa sa atin na oras. Pero kinukumpirma pa natin yan. Tinanong na natin yung kampo ni Senador Robin Padilla kung totoo nga ba ito. At yung si Attorney Jimmy Bondoc naman ay dumating. Ilang minuto na rin yung nakalilipas. At ayon sa kanya, Angela, hindi niya pa raw sigurado kung nandito pa rin si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Ayun daw ang kanyang dahilan kung bakit siya pumunta dito para tignan at kumustahin ito. Dahil hindi niya daw direkta na nakakausap ang senador, kundi yung staff daw nito. Kaya naman patuloy nating aabangan at babantayan yung balita na yan. At syempre, ang tanong kung saan nga ba ito pupunta kung sakasakali. Pero Angela, around 2 a.m., 1 a.m. and 12 a.m., yun yung time na nagsilabasan ng ilang mga senador. The reports say around 3:40 a.m. daw lumabas si Senator Robin Padilla. But of course, we still need to get their side and explain and confirm these allegations from our sources. Angela Chego.
Maraming salamat sa iyong update, mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Now let's talk to Attorney Jennifer Orlin Reyes, constitutional law book author and law professor. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Attorney. Thanks for joining us again.
Hi, good morning to everyone. It's always nice to be on your show.
Of course, we have a lot to unpack. Ang dami pong mga nangyari yesterday. Legally speaking, tama po ba yung ginagawa ng Senado? Like for example, yesterday na hindi po, kung wala pa po yung ruling ng Supreme Court, yung kanilang sinasabi na reply from both camps, ay tama po ba yun na hindi isurrender ng Senado si Senator Bato de la Rosa?
In my humble legal opinion, maling-mali ang ginawa ng ilang miyembro ng Senado na protektahan, i-harbor, or even conceal Senator Bato within Senate halls. Tandaan po natin na walang batas na nag-o-authorize sa kahit sino man, kahit sa Senado, na wag i-acknowledge ang isang legal na proseso gaya ng isang valid warrant of arrest, whether or not it is from a local court or international court. Actually po, Angela and Mr. Diego, mayroon tayong tinatawag na batas, Presidential Decree 1829. Ito yung penalizing obstruction of apprehension and prosecution of criminal offenders. At ito po, kapag mga public officials ang nag-violate ng batas na ito dahil sa kanilang pagtatago, pagko-conceal, pag-harbor, or facilitating the escape of a said accused person, pwede silang makulong ng hanggang 6 na taon at pwede rin silang ma-disqualify perpetually to hold public office. So maling-mali para sa akin ang ginagawa ng ilan nating senador na pagpoprotekta kay Senator Bato.
Yeah, Attorney, so in effect, if the executive department, executive branch decides to effect an arrest and Senate OSA personnel attempt to block them, they can be ordered to stand down and can be charged with obstruction of justice. Pati na po yung mga senators who will try to prevent an actual arrest, that can also happen to them?
Yes, definitely. The law is clear. Even if you are a public official, even if you are a senator, the law does not care. If you will obstruct a service of a valid court process, specifically a warrant of arrest, I will reiterate this, kahit galing pa yan sa Philippine courts or kahit galing sa international courts, kailangang sundin ito ng Senado. Otherwise, they can be charged with obstruction of justice.
Ayun, in relation to that, no, attorney, yung issue about yung Supreme Court not saying anything about the TRO. So habang wala pang ginagawang response about the TRO and asking for comments, is it deemed that you can still arrest Senator Bato pending a decision regarding the TRO?
Yes, that is utterly correct. Hanggat walang temporary restraining order or temporary protection order, ang Korte Suprema na ini-issue, the valid warrant of arrest against Bato can be validly implemented by the authorized officers.
But having said that, can the Supreme Court actually stop the enforcement of an ICC warrant or arrest warrant through TRO? Say for example, magkaroon na nga ng desisyon ng Korte Suprema regarding this.
In my humble opinion, the Supreme Court, if it, for example, issues a temporary restraining order, of course, that is only for a momentary period, right? Or a temporary period. In the end, deciding on the merits of the petition to prevent the warrant of arrest to be issued to Bato, walang magagawa ang Korte Suprema. Dahil ang Korte Suprema, dapat ang pinapatupad nito ay ang saligang batas ng ating konstitusyon. At nakalagay sa ating konstitusyon na ina-adapt ng ating bansa ang mga generally accepted principles of international law. Kasama na dito ang mga tratado natin sa ibang bansa. At ito ay parte ng ating batas. So I know that the Supreme Court is brilliant enough not to violate the Constitution and not to violate their own decision. Dahil sinabi na nila sa Pangilinan versus Cayetano na may jurisdiksyon pa rin ang ICC sa mga di umano'y naganap na krimen sa Pilipinas, crimes against humanity, up to March 17, 2019. Korte Suprema mismo ang nagsabi na may jurisdiksyon ang ICC sa Pilipinas up to that date.
Well, medyo nagkakaroon nga ng mga mali-maling or mga conflicting messaging mula sa executive also during the speech of President. Parang sinabi pa niya doon na wala kaming kinalaman dito, there's no arrest warrant. If the President said that himself, ibig po bang sabihin natin, pwede nating sabihin na well, he is free to go kung wala naman palang arrest warrant?
Well, even if the President states na hindi utos ng Malacanang ang pagpapaaresto or attempt to arrest Senator Bato, well, actually, it is the President's duty, right? To be fair, President BBM as the apex of the executive department, ang pinaka-primordial duty ng isang presidente ay siguraduhin that all laws are faithfully executed. So instead of denying, of course, it is the president's right kung hindi naman talaga niya inutos. But in my opinion, it is high time for him to categorically declare whether or not he will also perform his duty to effectuate or implement the laws. Yan kasi ang isang kapangyarihan ng presidente at actually tungkulin ng presidente. I-make sure mo na naipapasatupad ang mga batas.
I think kasi at this point, attorney, no, I think several lawmakers and the executive, they're very sensitive to public sentiment or the optics of this entire scenario. But the question is here, what can the executive branch do? Because subject to interpretation ang ginagawa ng senador regarding the ICC arrest warrant, what can the executive do to have a stronger reason to pick up Senator Bato de la Rosa and surrender him to the Netherlands? If they don't want to go the route of an ICC arrest warrant, can they wait for the diffusion notice since we are a member of the Interpol?
That is a very good idea. aside from the fact that it is the executive department's duty to effectuate the valid warrant of arrest, they have all the resources, they have all the power, and they all have the right to coordinate with international organizations legitimately, okay, legally, to implement the said valid warrant of arrest against Bato. But of course, no unnecessary force must be used. They must make sure that civilians, the employees of the Senate, and other people, the rest of the people who are not involved, are not, not injured or harmed by this process.
Well, with all of these things that are happening right now, Attorney, hindi po ba to parang mas malakas ang pagpapatibay na internationally, dahil laman po tayo ngayon ng international community ng mga balita, na nagiging mas malakas po yung kaso against sa Duterte regarding the drug war, because they can see that, a senator, a former drug war enforcer, can actually close down the Senate to protect him.
That is a very good observation, Miss Angela. If you will recall, one of the grounds kaya nirefuse or dinenay ng International Criminal Court ang interim release ni former President Duterte is because of their observation and findings na napakalakas pa ng political influence or network ng former President Duterte. In Bato's case, the whole world is watching us. Laman tayo ng mga balita. Unfortunately, kahiya-hiya ang mga balita, 'di ba? Sa buong mundo, sa ating bansa, because of this. This can be a solid ground. This can be a strong ground. Why ICC will also take into consideration that Duterte's influence or presence, political presence, is still strong in the country, and any interim release in the future cannot be granted.
So, Attorney, my last question is, until now, until we wait for a decision from the Senate regarding the TRO, if the TRO comes down and let's say it is rejected, this in essence lessens Senator Bato's argument not to be arrested.
Definitely. And siguro last words, no, na let us all remember that Bato's problem is his problem alone. The Senate has no authority to obstruct a validly issued warrant of arrest. Let us not veer away from the real issue. Ang issue dapat natuunan na ngayon ng pansin ng Senado ay the fact na na-transmit na sa kanila ng mababang kapulungan ang articles of impeachment kagabi before the shooting incident. So they have the constitutional duty to convene now as an impeachment court. Bato has all the resources, lawyers, to protect himself or to defend himself. Ang mga senador natin, yung ilang mga senador natin, dapat maalala nila na ang kanilang tungkulin ay para sa mga kababayan nating Pilipino at hindi lamang kay Bato.
Well, as usual, thank you for your time, Attorney Jennifer Arlene Reyes, constitutional law book author and law professor.
Good morning.
Welcome. Stay safe.
All right, before the gunfire incident, the Senate was already on edge as lawmakers clash in heated debates during Wednesday's plenary session. Here's the report.
Napakainam po sana kung pakitaan niya ako ng magandang asal at ipakita sa akin na ganito, iho, ang pagsasabi ng I'm not finished. Hindi yung I have the floor with the burning eyes and the very high voice.
Senator Robin Padilla again brought up his verbal tussle with Senator Kiko Pangilinan during Wednesday's plenary session. The two senators had this exchange over the National Bureau of Investigation's actions on Senator Bato de la Rosa inside Senate premises.
I'm appealing that perhaps this matter should be tackled in the committee rather than in this in plenary so that we can address other concerns.
The appeal,
And
the
for the
appeal
record,
from-
Paano natin pag-uusapan yung ibang...
And for the record, Mr. President, I still have the floor.
Padilla insists Pangilinan raising his voice at him is not acceptable and has violated Senate rules.
Kung ikaw ay nagsasabi ng iyong talumpati at ikaw ay passionate okay lang yun. Pero para sigawan mo ang kasama mo, nasaan ang rules of the Senate?
Hindi ako sanay na sinisigawan. So, sinasabi nila na natural yan daw dito. Sa akin hindi.
Padilla also explained why he did not accept Pangilinan's offer of a handshake to mend their understanding.
Nangyari po ito on record sa Senado. Humihingi po siya ng pag-abot ng kamay sa akin, hindi na on record. Paano ko po tatanggapin ng kamay niya? Ginawa niya yan on record.
Kailangan marinig ng asawa ko, ng anak ko, ng mga sister ko na nag-apologize daan sa pulpito.
Sir, what if hindi po siya mag-apologize sa plane?
Pwede yung ethics. Wala na ethics.
At doon na po sa Ethics Committee natin pag-usapan ito dahil marami pang ibang mga mas importanteng bagay sa aking paniwala ang dapat nating talakayin.
The Ethics Committee is also supposed to discuss Senator Bato de la Rosa's half-a-year paid absence in the Senate, but because of the leadership shakeup, the committees have yet to be reorganized as well. The Ethics Committee was last headed by Senator J.B. Ejercito with Pangilinan himself as the co-chair. Meanwhile, Senator Rodante Marcoleta also stood up during the plenary session to oppose the resolution filed by 5 minority senators asking De La Rosa to surrender.
They want Senator De La Rosa surrendered to authorities in the Philippines. In reality, they want him handcuffed, dragged to the airport, dumped on a plane, and banished to the clutches of the ICC in the Netherlands. While the sponsors claim they want Senator De La Rosa to avail of Philippine judicial remedies, in reality, they want him removed from territorial jurisdiction of the Philippine courts and therefore deprived of the rights and remedies that every Filipino enjoy under our laws and constitutional protection of due process. In fact, Mr. President, if the sponsors will have their way, the Senator De La Rosa is transported to the Netherlands. The constitutional issues now pending before the Philippine Supreme Court will become moot and academic.
The senators behind the resolution have not responded yet, but Senator Tito Soto had insisted that De La Rosa cannot take refuge in the upper house based on Senate rules. He added that the resolution is also for the upper house to not be held hostage. Kapatid Fatima Baduria, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. The Senate has officially received the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte. The documents were delivered by House Secretary General Cheloy Garafil and House Sergeant-at-Arms Ferdinand Melchor de la Cruz. With the transmittal, the Senate is now constitutionally required to convene as an impeachment court to try the Vice President. The impeachment stems from a House vote on May 11 where lawmakers impeached Duterte over allegations including betrayal of public trust and other high crimes.
Now let's check the situation over at the House of Representatives. We have with us mobile journalist Amy Atienza. Amy, go ahead.
Yes, Angela, Diego. Actually, nasa Senate tayo ngayon para tingnan kung ano nga yung mangyayari dito mismo pagkatapos nga nangyaring chaos din kagabi. At yun nga, para naman may idea din tayo sa end ng Congress kahapon habang nagmo-monitor din tayo ng mga kaguluhan nga dito sa Senado. Nakita na rin natin yung ilan sa mga naging pahayag ng ilang mga mambabatas. Nagsimula dyan kaya mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative Laila de Lima kung saan nga parang pinapaunlakan niya na si Senator Bato de la Rosa na sumurrender na nga sa authorities at sabi niya kasama din sa kanyang statement na sana nga daw ay ligtas ang lahat ng mga nandito ngayon sa Senado. Bukod pa dyan, may nakita rin tayong statement kaninang umaga galing nga mismo sa Akbayan kung saan nasabi na possibly daw ay stitch ito. At highly suspicious yung nangyaring mga kaguluhan dito mismo sa Senado dahil based din doon sa naging kwento nga ng ating kasama na mobile journalist kagabi na si Arles, ay talagang naging magulo yung sitwasyon dito. Maraming mga armadong authorities din yung pumunta dito, may putukan ng baril. At yun nga, sa kalagitnaan ng lahat ng yan, no, ay nagkaroon at nai-transmit naman noon ng Office of the Secretary General ng House of Representatives ang articles of impeachment at around 7:22 p.m. na-receive mismo dito sa Senado yung 27 copies ng articles of
Amy? Well, we're having problem with our communications, but thank you, mobile journalist Amy Atienza, for that report.
And joining us now is Bicol Sara Party List Representative Terry Redon. Good morning, Kong. Thank you for joining us again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, so before we talk about the articles of impeachment, can we get a comment from you regarding what transpired in the Senate last night?
Siyempre sa bahagi po ng Kamara, nagpapaabot po tayo ng concern. No? Dito po sa nangyaring ito, and katulad po ng binabanggit ng Senado at ng ating pong Pangulo, we would also want to get to the bottom of this. No? Very important po to make the point na dalawang bagay po yung, tatlong mga grupo po yung naging apektado po sa pangyayari kahapon. Una, syempre, yung pong mga kasamahan ho namin sa Kamara. No? So particularly ho, si House Secretary General Chelo Garafil, dahil nangyari po insidente almost at the same time nung pong submission po ng articles of impeachment, no, para sa reception po ng Senate Secretary. Yun po yung una. Pangalawa, siyempre, nangyari po insidente habang nag-cover po yung mga kasamahan natin sa media. No? So, I think kung talagang nag-aggravate po yung sitwasyon, magkakaroon po talaga ng pinsala dun sa mga kasamahan natin sa media na nag-cover po ng events surrounding the supposed arrest of Senator De La Rosa. Pangatlo, siyempre, yung mga tauhan din sa Senado. No? Dahil supposedly, they were there to ensure the security of everybody, pero they would have been caught in the crossfire kung talaga tumindi pa lalo yung sitwasyon kagabi. So, as far as the House is concerned, talagang we would also want to get the entire story as to why the shooting incident occurred, sino ho yung nagpaputok, meron ba talagang tapatan ng puwersa na nangyari, or it was a one-sided shooting of the guns. No? Nito pong nangyari kagabi.
Kung klaruhin ko lang yung protocol pag-transmit ng physical evidence, yung articles of impeachment from Congress to the Senate, kasi yung supposedly yung escorts daw ng yung pinadala from the lower house, sino talaga ang kasama doon? And is it standard na may mga Marines na nag-escort dito?
I think nag-clarify na ho yung pong Pangulo kagabi. Yung pong Marines, talagang mga kasama ho talaga yun doon sa mga deployed to the Senate. Pati ho yung police, no? Yung pong mga tauhan po ng Senate Sergeant at Arms, mga Senado ho talaga yun. So everyone, lahat po ng mga debaril daw po kagabi ay mga taong Senado. No? Ibig sabihin, deployed to the Senate, deputized to the Senate. No? So yung pong House Secretary General, I think when they were delivering all of the documents, they were there by themselves. No? Ang kasama lang ho talaga ni Secretary General ay yung pong House Sergeant at Arms. No? At ilan pong staff ng Secretary General's office. So I don't think they were involved in getting any escort or security detail dito po sa delivery lang po ng articles of impeachment.
Well, Kong, legally speaking, kayo po ay lawyer din, taking away po yung posisyon nyo bilang congressman. Legally speaking, pwede po bang ma-avoid itong nangyari yesterday kung wala naman po, kung binigay po kaagad ng Senado si Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa? Kumbaga, wala pong Senate protective custody.
Ayoko muna pag-usapan yon dahil syempre meron pong mga legal proceedings po na nangyayari. No? So yung Korte Suprema nagbigay po ng palugit para magsagutan po yung mga partido relating to the motion of Senator Bato de la Rosa. And naiintindihan ko din naman ho yung posisyon ng Senate leadership sa bagay po na ito. Pero syempre, I think the point needs to be made that actual warrants had already been issued against Senator Bato de la Rosa. So we'll also leave it to the executive as to how they will actually implement this particular international warrant against Senator de la Rosa.
All right, Kong, let's move on to the impeachment. No? Ngayon, it was transmitted already officially yesterday. Ano po ang timeline ngayon na i-expect natin? Taking into consideration yung nangyari kahapon, how soon can we expect the Senate to convene as an impeachment court?
We will hold on po to the word of Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano. Ang sabi naman po niya that they will convene the impeachment court forthwith. No? And ang kanyang pong pagkakahulugan ng salita pong forthwith in a recent interview ay agad-agad. So as soon as they have received it officially as a Senate body, no? So ibig sabihin, during their plenary session, we will be expecting po na hopefully within the next week, they will have convened already po as a Senate impeachment court.
Well, Kog, para po malinaw lang po sa ating mga viewers, kasi 2 weeks from now, if I'm not mistaken, June 6 po ba or June 4 ay sine-dia na. So, pagka po ba nag-convene ang Senado, tuloy-tuloy na po yun, hindi na po nila maaaring gawing dahilan na kailangan mag-recess ng Senado, tapos magsosona pa by July.
Tuloy-tuloy naman po yan, ano? Yung kaibahan po kasi noong nakaraang panahon, patapos na ho talaga yung 19th Congress, no? At patawid na po to the 20th Congress. Magsasara lang naman ho yung unang taon ng Kongreso po ng 20th Congress. So, ang pagtingin ko naman ho, this is a continuing constitutional duty of the Senate to convene it and to implement po the Senate impeachment trial. So, irrespective of it crossing towards sine die status, dapat magtuloy-tuloy pa rin po itong proseso sa Senado.
Okay, so ano na po yung mga preparations ng prosecution team for the pag nag-start na po yung trial, if ever?
Alam po niyo, halos araw-araw na ho yung mga pagpupulong po namin. Maghahati na po yung pong 11-person na panel into teams, into teams of 4 para doon po sa 4 grounds. So, unexplained wealth, bribery, threats, at confidential funds misuse. So, yun po, we're in the thick of things. And syempre, nagpipinal din po kami noong pong roster po ng private prosecutors na tutulong din po sa public prosecutors. So, yan po yung mga kaganapan sa mga susunod pong araw. Pero ultimately, ang bola po of moving forward the impeachment proceeding ay nasa Senado na po. At yan po yung talaga antabayanan po namin sa mga susunod pong mga araw.
Well, Kong, we all also know, as much as it is important na tignan yung ebidensya, and we hope in a perfect world, yung mga senador will just look at that. But we know it's also a political process. And given the current construct of the majority, ano po ang tactic ngayon ng prosecution with regards to possible acquittal or guilty verdict?
Well, ang nagbago lang naman po sa Senado ay yung pong liderato, hindi naman po yung komposisyon So, irrespective of the Senate leadership, kailangan pa rin po talaga namin kumbinsihin isa-isa yung pong mga senador to convict the Vice President. At ang paraan po talaga para dyan ay makumbinsiho sila on the basis and the strength of evidence. And I'm quite certain in each and every ground on threats, kita naman natin talagang talagang nagbantaho yung pangalang Pangulo laban sa Pangulo. Pangalawa, on unexplained wealth, sobrang hirap po talaga pagbanggain nung 6.7 billion in total transactions versus 88.5 billion in SALN. At panghuli, yung pong confidential funds misuse, very clear. 448 million po yung pinapasoli sa pangalang Pangulo, personal. So, sa lahat po ng pagpapatunay, tingin ko po kaya ho namin kumbinsihin ang atin po mga senador to convict the Vice President.
Speaking of evidence, Kong, yung isang sinasabing important key of evidence na hindi ata binuksan sa Congress, yung green box. Will you be opening this in the trial?
Tama po yun. So, we will request the Senate Impeachment Court for them to unseal the box so that we can examine the contents. Kasi relevant po ito doon sa pagpapabangga against the total transactions po of the Duterte Carpio couple para makita ho natin na hindi even not just on SALN but also on income talagang hindi ho magbabangga yung pong total transactions entire financial picture ng mag-asawang Duterte Carpio doon po sa kanila pong income statements na sinabit po sa BIR.
Yung pag-unseal, Kong, is this going to be during the course of the trial or will the request be made before the trial happens?
That is something that we will have to determine po. I think that's something that we can be undertaken during pre-trial, but if we will not undertake it during pre-trial, we will undertake it during the trial itself. No?
Well, of course, during the clarificatory hearings po ng House Justice Committee, hindi po talaga dumating itong si VP Sara Duterte. But this time around, if the impeachment trial continues or begins, nakalagay po ba sa Constitution natin na mandatory dapat nandoon, mag-attend at sumali sa prosesong ito ang akusado?
Wala naman pong requirement for physical presence. No? Katulad dun sa mga court proceedings, meron pong karapatan na magpakita o hindi po magpakita ang akusado. No? Pero again, babalikan ko din ho yung challenge to the defense panel. No? Kasi up until today, and they stated it also in their statement, na they will participate daw po in the Senate trial while still contesting the matter at the level of the Supreme Court. No? Parang medyo madugas ho yun eh. Kasi I don't think you can participate in the trial when you are actually questioning the entirety of the proceedings.
Right.
Hindi ba? Kasi it will place everyone in a very contradictory position. Kasi for example, in the event that the Senate actually convicts the Vice President and then the Supreme Court releases a decision invalidating the entirety of the proceedings, ano ho yung magiging sitwasyon ho natin yan? Pagka ho ganyan. So I think they have to decide the actual recourse that they would want. No? And I'm quite certain some of the senator judges will actually ask this particular question as well. Kasi respondent po yung Senado eh.
Right.
Doon po sa proseso po nila sa Korte Suprema. So I think that these are things that will preliminarily be discussed during the course of trial.
Yan. Kung, you mentioned kanina yung preparations na ginagawa niyo, nabalik lang ako ng konti. You said teams of 4. Ano po ang hahawakan yung article of impeachment?
Wala pa hong pagpipinal po rito. Pero yung tinalakay ho natin during the clarificatory proceedings ay patungkol doon sa unexplained wealth, no? At confidential funds. So malamang madedeploy ho tayo on those particular grounds.
And usually, how long will this take? Ang trial?
Which particular, ano po yung...
Yung trial po, sorry.
This particular?
How long will the trial take? I mean, kasi before, like yung kay Corona, I think it took 3 to 4 months, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, yung during era pa time, na-unsyami yun because of what happened. Pero normally, ilang months po ba to?
Siyempre, we cannot say for certain how long it will take. Pero I think we will require maybe a month or 2 po for the evidence to be presented by the prosecution and for the defense to be presented also by their panel. No? So, siguro yung 2 months, tingin ko sapat-sapat na po ito para doon sa kabuuan po ng presentasyon ng lahat ng mga ebidensya.
All right. As usual, thank you for your time. Bicol Saro Party List Representative Terry Ridon for joining us on the show.
Good morning.
Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines has lifted the red and yellow alert status previously declared over the Luzon and Visayas grids. The NGCP earlier implemented manual drop loading to help maintain stability of the power grid during periods of high demand and limited supply. Red alert status is issued when power supply is insufficient to meet consumer demand. Meantime, a yellow alert is declared when the operating margin falls short of the transmission grid's contingency requirements.
Meralco customers will experience a slight decrease in their May electricity bills following 3 consecutive months of rate increases. The overall residential rate has been reduced by 0.0151 centavos per kilowatt hour, bringing it to 14 pesos and 33 centavos per kilowatt hour. The power distributor said the decrease was driven by Energy Regulatory Commission approved adjustments, including refunds, tax and charge revisions, and lower transmission costs. Meralco also noted that consumers benefited from reduced generation charges after suppliers absorbed part of the costs under the line rental cap, leading to notable savings.
And we are now joined by Attorney Maria Corazon Hines, Director of the Legal Service of the Energy Regulatory Commission. Good morning po, Attorney. Thank you for joining us again.
Good morning to everyone.
Okay, perhaps you can explain to us po yung mga factors contributed to the recent decrease in the Meralco rates. Kahit paano po medyo magandang balita po yan.
Yes, but may mga factors na ginawa, interventions na ginawa yung ERC para at least mapababa man lang yung sisingilin sa ating mga consumers sa next month. Una dito yung suspension ng GEA allowance. So for the months of May and June ay hindi muna tayo magbabayad ng green energy auction allowance. Kasi nakita ng komisyon na sapat pa naman yung pondo para matustusan yung mga claims ng mga RE developers na kasali doon sa program. So ang pangalawa naman ay humingi ng approval yung Meralco para doon sa pagbaba nila ng generation charge nila. Ito yung bunso dun sa yun nga nabanggit na yung sa line rentals. In-apply muna nila yung adjustment para at least bumaba man lang yung presyo ng kuryente natin. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead po.
Go ahead, Attorney.
So, yung pangatlo naman, yung magiging impact ng awat refund. So, ang ginawa ng kasi ng commission, ito yung adjustment ng DSM ng Meralco. That's the distribution, supply, and metering charges ng Meralco for the months of July 2022 until December 2024. So ang kabuang reduction doon ay at an average of 0.2511 per kilowatt hour. So that's more than 25 centavos per kilowatt hour. So matatanggap natin ito as a refund for 1 year. Kaya yung mga factors na yon nag-contribute lahat doon sa pagbaba ng ating babayarin kung ikukumpara mo doon sa previous month. So tatlong bagay 'yon. Yung GEA suspension allowance, yung mitigating measures para doon sa generation charge ng Meralco, bunso doon sa pag-apply ng line rental adjustment, at saka yung refund na galing doon sa awat na ipapatupad starting May 2026.
Attorney, kasi ang tanong din ng iba, usually pag bumababa ang rates at a certain period, dumodoble daw ang balik the succeeding months. Nakikita ba natin na may possible increases 2-3 months down the line?
Kung ganito lang naman po yung magiging scenario, wala pa naman kaming nakikita. Kasi aktibo naman ang commission na tumitingin mga alternatibo o kaya mga paraan para at least ma-maintain man lang yung binabayaran natin o mapababa. Kaya pag may mga refunds na nakikita kami na kailangang ipatupad, pinapatupad naman. Yung namang mga collect ay binibigyan naman namin ng time o dinidelay naman namin yung pag-implement ng mga distribution utilities.
Attorney, this month of May kasi grabe ang init at temperature. So ang dami na pong gumagamit ng dagdag aircon. Tumataas nga daw ang sales ng aircon, electric fan. Yung timing po pa ng decrease, hindi po ba yung delikado sa supply given na bababa ang presyo at mataas ang demand?
Dalawa po kasi yung bagay yung what's driving the customer's consumption. First is yung actual na konsumo mismo ng mga customers. Kahit mababa yung presyo, kung mataas ang konsumo, mataas pa rin yung babayaran. Yung isa naman, yung presyo ng kuryente ay mataas, kaya kahit na pareho yung gamit mo, mas mataas yung iyong babayaran. Kaya dalawang factors lagi ang naglalaro diyan para makita natin kung ano at magkano yung babayaran ng ating mga consumers. Pag summer kasi, malaki yung konsumo natin dahil kagaya ng mga appliances natin, mas mahaba yung tinatakbo niyang mga motor nila para mapagana at mapalamig. Yung mga heating and cooling devices, malaki talaga ang konsumo niyan. Kung ikukumpara mo dun sa konsumo nila, pag malamig yung panahon. Kaya pag summer, talagang expected na sana natin na talagang tataas dahil mas mahaba din yung gamit natin at pagtakbo ng mga appliances natin.
Well, as they say, this May, electric consumers will also partially benefit dun daw po sa long delayed implementation ng VAT exemption, no? Doon sa power generated using indigenous natural gas. Could you explain that to us po?
Okay. Yun kasing generation. Okay, ang taxes kasi, ang value added tax is applied to sales for generation, transmission and distribution. So yun yung general rule. Kaya lang may mga naging issues yata doon sa payment ng value added tax doon sa indigenous renewable resources. Kaya naayos na ito, kaya ito din yung isang rason kung bakit mapapababa yung presyo due to the reduction of the tax.
Well, as to the point of Diego kanina, no, na tumataas po talaga yung konsumo rin talaga ng mga mga kababayan, no, dahil po sa init talaga ng panahon. But what measures are we implementing to ensure that there will be no massive power outages? Dahil sa dami po ng mga supply or kumukonsumo ngayon.
Okay. Minu-monitor namin, kasama na rin sa pangunguna ng Department of Energy, yung mga planta natin. So nakita na natin yung nagkakaroon na tayo ng mga red and yellow alerts. Kaya yung DOE at saka yung ERC ay nagbigay na rin ng instructions o direktiba doon sa mga generating plants at saka sa NGCP na ayusin na kaagad yung mga rason kung bakit nagkaroon tayo ng outages, ng red and yellow alerts ngayon. Yung doon sa Visayas Grid, ang rason ng alert nila ay nagkaroon ng outages talaga yung mga ibang mga planta. Kaya ang instructions nasa kanila ngayon ay ayusin kaagad yung mga planta na yon. Sa Luzon naman, ito ay bunsod nung nagkaroon ng problema sa transmission lines. Kaya ang NGCP ay naatasan na rin para ayusin itong mga linya na ito. Ang panawagan lamang namin sa mga consumers ay kung kaya po natin sanang magtipid, maski ho ngayong tag-init, ay magtipid po tayo kasi yun pong ating konsumo ay makakadagdag po sa tinatawag po na demand. At kung yun pong demand natin ay halos kapareho nung nasa capacity ng grid natin, pag nagkaroon po ng force outage yung mga iba, talaga pong magkakaroon po tayo ng issues doon sa ating supply ng kuryente that might lead to red or yellow alerts.
Right.
All right, thank you for your time, Attorney Maria Corazon Hines, Director of the Legal Service of the Energy Regulatory Commission.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now, in other news, the 2026 Tour of Luzon wrapped up after a 14-day cycling race. Antoine Hobby of 7-Eleven Click Road Bike Philippines won the final stage after a late breakaway and claimed his third stage victory along with the purple jersey. Despite Hubby's stage win and multiple classification wins, Nikita Shulchenko secured the overall general classification title and the yellow jersey. Team 7-Eleven Click Road Bike Philippines dominated the team standings, while other awards went to standout riders including Ibrahim Al-Refai as Best Young Rider and Jude Yong as Most Combative Rider. Continue to stay informed
Just
here.
when we thought, just when we thought the weekend shenanigans and yung nangyari nung Monday, ang dami na nangyari. May nangyari na naman yesterday, of course. Unfortunately, laman na naman tayo ng balita all over the
Keep on
world.
watching One News, News 5, or One Balita into FM para po doon sa mga ibang update regarding this.
Oh, and of course, as we continue to go out through the news day, we will have updates as to the whereabouts of Senator
we
Bato
need to
and
confirm
also
that
the
information.
pending reply ng both camps sa Supreme Court.
Yes.
Of course, we're waiting for their decision as well.
And of course, the investigation ng mga police regarding dun sa
May lumabas na
sino
daw.
ba yung unang bumaril, sino yung ano,
Yung
diba, yung mga
report ng
evidence.
Southern Police District daw, there's one lone gunman daw, driver daw ng NBI. Yan ang linabas na statement ng SPD. But more details as we go along. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. Kapatid, we are one you.
All sides, all the time.